Breaking now at 4, a little girl falls into a rhino exhibit. The latest details as the child is rushed to the hospital.
Plus, neighbors fed up with a string of violence in their neighborhood after another young man is murdered.
This place is not safe anymore for us.
What they're calling for from law enforcement.
A potential new deal to end the government shutdown, the meeting that could get people back to work and open up facilities everywhere, including right here in Southwest Florida. And breaking now at 4, a 2-year-old girl is rushed to the hospital after falling into a rhino exhibit. The zoo said in a statement witnesses reported the girl stumbled and fell between 2 poles. A rhino touched the child with its snout. Now, this happened in the last couple of hours at the Brevard Zoo. The little girl was rushed to the hospital. We're working to learn her condition. Trust Week News to let you know more as we learn it.
The first day of the new year brings the first murder. Someone killed 21-year-old Shamel DeRosis in Immokalee in just the first hours of 2019. This was the scene earlier this afternoon as deputies dug for clues to find the killer. Neighbors say they don't feel safe on their street anymore.
And let me show you where this scene is happening. It's at Chadwick Circle, just off of State Road 29. That's where we find Wink News reporter Curtis Jenny. Now, Curtis, what do we know so far? Government shutdown is in its 11th day. Federal facilities like the Ding Darling Wild Refuge are feeling the impact. Families from all over traveled to paddle, hike, bike, and boat, but without a new deal in Washington, parts of the refuge remain closed to visitors. Wink News reporter Brendan Leslie joins us now from Ding Darling on Sanibel. Now, Brendan, can the public still access some of these areas?
Yeah,
without pay.
So what's next? As we mentioned, the White House has invited top congressional leaders to attend a West Wing briefing tomorrow on border security, and other lawmakers return to Washington Thursday as well. Democrats say shortly after taking control of the House, they will vote on proposals to temporarily fund closed departments. But Republicans still control the Senate and have said they will not make any move on anything if they don't believe the president will sign it.
Just into the newsroom, the House where
the final report from the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Public Safety Commission will reach the governor's desk. The final recommendations come after examining what went wrong the day of the Parkland school shooting. We already know some of the official recommendations. The group stands behind the controversial policy to train and arm educators in schools. They also want more funding for security and single points of entry in schools. 17 people died in the shooting back in February. And right now, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is in Brazil. He is there to see the swearing in of Brazil's new president, who took the oath of office earlier today. Secretary Pompeo also met with Israeli Prime Minister. He says that the U.S. will continue to work alongside Israel. Into 2019, and just because we live in Florida doesn't mean we can't take part in the polar plunge tradition for the new year. But on Fort Myers Beach, it had an extra special meaning because it helps people in need.
Get together as a community instead of just having a big old party. We do some good.
Wink News reporter Taylor Visacki spent the day on the sand as a dip in the water does some good.
We started walking down the beach at about noon with winter coat.
Wink News now.
And the money raised from today's plunge will help Miller with his medical and living expenses.
One young woman is the...
On Wink News at 5, this man is accused of surprising a man in his car, pointing a gun at him and sexually assaulting him. The hunt to get him off the streets on Wink News at 5. And here in Fort Myers, crews had to do some cleanup after last night's celebration. This morning, volunteers gathered to pick up trash, all the trash left behind. The Fort Myers Beach Community Foundation led those efforts.
Along with the news.
And breaking down barriers, a girl is tackling gender inequality in chess. Often called the greatest board game of all time, chess has often faced its share of controversy when it comes to women getting an equal share of the board. Wink News reporter Michelle McConaughey explains how that woman has risen to the top of her game.
McConaughey, Wink News now.
And the tournament is held every year at Pogart's Institute of Chess Excellence in St. Louis. No matter the age of the winner, the champion secures a future spot on Webster's chess team, which is the #1 ranked D1 college chess team in America.
Changes to... Is pickleball a nuisance? The debate over what to do about the growing sport.
A water rescue as deputies pull a woman out of a flooded ditch, how they helped her narrowly escape death.
An infant survives hours in freezing cold and under a pile of rubble. The miraculous rescue up ahead.
From Southwest Florida's news leader, this is Wink News, live at 4.
And is this sport worth all the noise? Pickleball is growing in popularity, and tomorrow the city of Punta Gorda is deciding whether to make changes at the complex at Gilchrist Park. Wink News reporter Brea Hollingsworth is live there right now. Now, Brea, what do these players think?
Yeah, that's right.
And one woman is lucky to see 2019. Deputies rescued her in her car from a plunge here in this flooded ditch here. Hillsborough County deputies rescued 33-year-old Amanda Antonio after she lost control of her SUV and went into a water-filled ditch. She called 911 as she sank, and luckily deputies made it to her in time. She was hospitalized with minor injuries. President Trump continues to fight for a border wall, but if he doesn't cut a deal with Democrats, a Florida man's fundraiser continues to grow. The GoFundMe page is more than $18.5 million. The goal is $1 billion. More than 300,000 people have donated in the last 2 weeks. The man behind the fundraiser is a wounded Air Force veteran from Myanmar. If the page doesn't reach its goal, donors will get their money back. A miraculous rescue crews pulled a baby out of rubble here in a collapsed building in Russia. The baby boy survived 35 hours in freezing cold. Officials believe a gas leak explosion caused all of this. It damaged 48 buildings and killed 7 people. 36 more are still missing tonight. Powder that some doctors are calling magical. After the break, the medical breakthrough that shortens healing time and cuts down on scars.
And up ahead, Mother Nature took a toll on the U.S., the biggest weather events of 2018.
And how sure are you that your child's car seat is safe?
Up ahead, the date you need to look for before you buckle them back in.
Welcome back. A year of hurricanes, floods, and fires. Mother Nature took her toll in the U.S. in 2018. Weekend News reporter Natasha Chen takes us back through the biggest weather events of the year.
This looks like a war zone. In January.
And for many of us, our New Year's resolution starts today, and if one of them includes budgeting better, there's a few ways to improve your financial fitness in 2019. Nearly half of Americans plan to save more, and 15% say they hope to spend less. Instead of paying off your credit card, experts recommend putting that money into a savings account. Start tracking your spending. There's a variety of apps to help. And remember, fun is still important. Set aside a fund for some guilt-free spending.
Is one of your New Year's resolutions to drink less alcohol?
After the break, how long you have to go cold turkey before the habit sticks.
For your help tonight, all new on Wink News at 5.
And do you recognize this man? Investigators say he slipped into an unlocked car and robbed his victim at gunpoint right here in Southwest Florida.
Plus $50 billion worth of merchandise stolen in the past year. It's a crime that leads to you paying more.
And just in time for New Year's resolutions, the foods that put you in a better mood. Wink News continues in just 90 seconds.